Hello, everyone, and welcome to the part two of the article Reading Maps and Globes. So, what we're looking at today is a continuation of reading information about why we read maps and globes. Your job specifically is going to be to look for these words. So, I'll read them to you, and your job is going to be to keep an eye out for them because in the discussion post, I want you to tell me the purpose of each of these types of maps. So when we're reading part two of the article, your job is to keep an eye out for road maps and what they're used for. You're also responsible for figuring out what political maps are used for based on the article. You're also going to be looking for physical maps in the article and what they are used for. And the final type of map that you're going to keep an eye out for in the article are topographic maps. So we're going to get into this article. Keep these words in mind, and when you're ready to answer the questions, you can feel free to go back into the article or pause as you go through the questions once you find these words. All right, so let's get started with the article. We left off at the heading scale. It's cut off of this screen, but that is the heading for this information right here. A scale is the relationship between the sizes on a map and how big something is in real life. For example, 1 inch on a map might equal 1,000 real-life miles. This scale can be written as 1 to 1,000. So here is a picture of a map that features Europe. It's also got a scale on it, a scale in miles. The caption for this picture says the scale shows how much real-life distance is represented on the map. So it's giving you an idea of how far things are away from one another, even though the map is very small. What they're doing is telling you that something like an inch or a centimeter actually represents or stands for something much bigger in real life. The next heading is map and globe orientation. People often think that the top of a map should point north. However, where a map is centered is a choice. The person drawing the map decides how it is centered. Long ago, Europeans drew maps differently. They believed that Jerusalem in Israel was the most important holy place in the world. Because of this, their maps faced east towards Jerusalem. So where the center point of a map is, it depends on the map maker's point of view. It's their choice. The person who draws the map decides what's going to be at the center or the focus of that map. Usually when we look at maps, it's going to be from our point of view. So we're usually going to see North America or the United States as the center or the focus of the map. The next section of this article, the heading's title is Map Symbols. Some map symbols are easy to understand. Others need a key that explains the symbols. Different people use different symbols. Native Americans, for example, once used cross shapes on their maps. To them, these pointed out where stars were. Spanish explorers used crosses too, but on their maps, crosses stood for churches and towns. On a typical map, black lines usually mean roads. Circles or stars stand for cities. Dotted lines often show railroads. Colors may look the same as real-world features. Green can show forests, and brown means it is a desert. Symbols might be used differently depending on the map maker. Because of this, it is important to look at a map's key. So over here, the caption for the picture of the map of Europe says the key or legend tells what each symbol means. So key and legend, they're synonyms. That's the part in the map, I'm circling it right here, that tells you what each symbol actually represents on the map. So right here in this example of a legend or a key, it says that this symbol right here that I'm circling, it represents any town that's got over 5,000 people in it. This one right here, this small dot, represents any town that's got less than 20,000 people in it. So the person who's making the map, they decide which symbols they're going to use, and they use the key or the legend to explain what those symbols, those pictures that stand for something else, actually mean. Here's the next heading. Advantages of globes and special maps. Globes give a better idea of what Earth really looks like from space. Usually, a map is drawn on something flat like paper. Because of this, the map cannot be exactly correct. The Earth is curved and shaped like a ball. It is not flat. Globes help to solve that problem. Usually, you can spin a globe around just like how Earth turns. Road maps are popular maps. So are political maps. They show countries, states, or counties. Physical maps show natural features. Natural features are things like rivers, lakes, mountains, and deserts. The next heading says transportation and political maps. Road maps have a few different types of information. They show us the borders and roads of a place. They mix that with information about natural features. Some maps can get too old, however. If a map is too old, it could be wrong today. You may see a green field on a map. However, today, a mall may have been built on the field. Streets might appear to keep going. In real life, the road may no longer exist. Google Maps is a popular app. You can get it on your smartphone or computer. It has many types of information. It gathers information from GPS or global positioning satellites. Satellites hover above the Earth. They beam down information to your phone or computer. Satellites can show exactly where you are. They have exact latitude and longitude numbers. Political maps show us the borders of countries and states. They only show part of the truth about the world, though. These maps do not show, for example, that borders can be imaginary or made up. Not every border has walls or fences. Maps might not show this. So in the picture of this political map, there is a caption that says political maps show borders, such as the borders between countries. Here, the border between the US and Mexico is clearly shown. So political maps do show where one country is separated from another, but those lines don't necessarily exist in real life. They're usually imaginary, just like lines of latitude and longitude. The next heading and the final heading in this reading is physical maps and more. Physical maps show rivers, lakes, deserts, and other natural things. So I'm going to stop right there so I can show you the physical map. I'm circling it. The caption says, physical maps show topography, the arrangement of natural resources and physical features of an area, such as the Sahara Desert. topographic maps are similar to physical maps because they show the shape of mountains and valleys. So they show some of the physical parts of our planet. Some maps and globes are made with raised bumps. These stand for mountain ranges. This can also show us the height of a mountain. Some maps show important numbers about people or places. These are thematic maps. For example, this map might show how many people in an area speak Spanish. They might show how many people live in a certain state or city. So I'm going to scroll to show you this thematic map. Again, this can give you information about a population. It can tell you about how many people live in a particular place. So that's it for part 2 of the reading. You are ready to answer those questions about the first 4 types of maps. So again, be on the lookout for road maps, political maps, physical maps, and topographic maps when you go to answer your questions in the discussion post.